Happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope you are having a great week so far. Sorry I'm running a few minutes late. Just finishing up with a client, young Philip. Good golfer, low single figures, working on some leg action. As usual, I'll be taking all of your questions on anything golf related. Why not? Ask me anything else you like. Had a few requests about doing a bit of a later swing tip live for my American friends. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a later session today. Hopefully that's agreeable. Just round up a few balls, fall down the back here. And I'll start brushing a few away. If you've got any questions, make sure you fire away. Got a fantastic video finishing up an edit on at the moment. It's going to be a fantastic, hey, Dink and Dunk, the man himself, the inspiration behind my later live today. Dink and Dunk. Tell me where that handle comes from. Thanks for logging on. Who else we got? Rob K. Cheers, Stuart. Oh, you're welcome. Rob, are you in the US as well, Rob? Thanks for joining. Nice to see you again. I know you were in yesterday. How's the golf been? Oh. Full day of coaching gone on. Was in just before 7. Got the hound with me, young Barnabas. I'll get him up in a minute. Got a couple of hours of editing done. Some Skillest done as well. And then had 4 hours of coaching. Dink and Dunk. Here's the question. How do I keep the trail leg from kicking out in the pull phase of my downswing? Is there lateral motion with the hips, or is it all push and pull with the legs? Thank you, Stu. Huge fan of the content. Thank you, Dink and Dunk. So the trail leg, the height of your right hip will dictate what your knee does. So depending on the pitch of your spine at the top, where your pelvis is in relation to your feet will dictate what your knee does. The knee is simply a reaction. So I would look for influences on those ingredients rather than trying to isolate the knee. The knees, as I say, is just a bit of a amber light, or it's the ingredient that's highlighting what's going on in other areas. So hopefully that gives you some insights. Wisdom. Hi, Stuart. Thanks for your content. You are super welcome, Wisdom. You are super welcome. As I say, I'm off to France on Friday. New drone in hand. New drone has got some seriously good advancements, which will allow me to create some really nice content on the golf course. So stay tuned for that. Oh, we've got Ruud. Nice to see you again, Ruud. GA Stew. What does GA mean? Good, or is that supposed to be good day stew? Anyway, thanks for all your efforts to make us better golfers. You're super welcome. I have upgraded my Rapsodo MLM2 and now have the angle of attack. Now I have straight path, spin axis neutral to negative to hit, but not a low angle of attack. Well, sounds like, Ruud, you're moving down the road nicely, which is fantastic to hear. Craig McConaughey, hey Craig. Hi Stuart, how you doing, mate? Yeah, I'm really good, thanks, Craig. In David's driver lesson, it didn't look like he was pull the handle, or did I miss it? Looked like he was pulling the handle. Yeah, he was pulling the handle. It's just that that wasn't important. If I asked him to pull the handle, it would have been harder for him to swing the club. And I was trying to encourage him to swing the club. So last thing I'm going to get him to do is try and work on pulling the handle. Hope that helps, Craig. Wood, any thoughts for a drill? And good afternoon, you're welcome. So more angle of attack is always about making sure that your right shoulder is interacting with your lead leg. So getting the wedge out, getting the club in your right hand, and then playing the pull off the leg. So that all of a sudden, that golf club can start to bottom out more over here. Now, the more angle of attack you've got, the more the face to path will be open. Now, you said in your previous comment that your face to path is neutral. So if I make your angle of attack more down, you're going to hit a fade, which tells us that the club face is out of orientation. So I'll double check your grip first. Wisdom, could you show me in slow motion the path and direction of the butt end of the grip? Many thanks, Dom. Could you show me in slow motion the path and direction of the butt end of the grip? Yeah, for sure. So the path line of the grip in slow motion. There you go. Dink and dunk. How do you prevent the chest from overturning and getting jammed and getting T-Rex arms in the follow through, especially with longer clubs, overturning? So a good, pulling in of your arms through strike can be any number of reasons. If someone's trying to turn out the way too hard, again, it means that their face to path is too open. So I'd look to fix your face to path first. I assume you hit a fade, dink and dunk. When you're hitting a fade, what a golfer's trying to do is trying to square the face up, which invariably is then pulling the path to the left. And that's how you get this buckled up with your forearms. So lengthening your arms and getting rid of your chicken wing really would arguably make your shot worse. So you need to deal with your face to path first before you think about changing your chicken wing. Let me know what your shape in the sky is. Rob K from Ontario, Canada. Ah, fantastic. So you are from the other side of the pond. Golf swing getting better. That's great. Thanks to you. You're welcome. At times I feel lime. I release the club early. At times I feel like I released the club early, not pulling enough, or stalled shoulder turn, or is that the same thing? Learning in layers. So if you're stalling out, and the club is unloading, once again, that's a golfer trying to square the face up. If you pull for longer, so I'll make all things equal. I'm just going to pull for longer. Watch what happens to the angle of attack when I pull for longer. And watch where the golf ball goes. So I pulled for longer. Angle of attack was 7.8 down. Path was straight. Face was 5.7 positive. Face to path open. I now get rid of the pull and I make the golf club swing earlier. Angle of attack will disappear. It did get it. It didn't get it. Let me do that again. So I'm going to unload early, lose the angle of attack. 3.2 up. Path is exactly the same at 1.2 straight. Now look at the face to path value, negative. So a golfer will lose their angle of attack, will lose their pull moment if their face to path is going to be more open. The key to it is being able to balance your pull moment, swing moment with the face to path. Hope that makes sense. Rob K. Oh, so that was Rob K. Yeah. So, you know, recognizing that, you know, everybody, my USP to my channel, right, is pulling of the club, because everybody in the whole golfing world says, for heaven's sake, don't pull the golf club. The reason why golf coaches don't ask you to pull the golf club is because most golfers do not use their leg action. If you don't use your leg action, you can't pull the club because you can't use your lower body fast enough. If you can't unravel your body quick enough and oppose the grip, you'll never be able to unload the club, which is why turning is the advice for most golf coaches. So when you've got a pull and a push, those two forces will collide and the club will swing at the bottom. Where it swings is ultimately coming down to your skill of being able to control low point, which is ultimately your right shoulder over your left leg, and the face orientation. So the art to it is being able to get a light angle of attack and hitting it straight. Let me do that again. Keep on putting the ball in the wrong spot. So light angle of attack and a straight shot. So angle of attack is 2.8 down, 0 straight, 0 face to path, club path at 0, and then hitting down at more of an angle of attack, and then still being able to keep your face to path square, or if anything slightly closed, so that when you're still encouraging the face to the angle of attack to be negative, you're still able to still line up your face to path value. So as my angle of attack is getting stronger, it should be making my face to path more negative, but it's not, because I'm changing the way I'm moving my grip to keep the face to path more lined up. And what that's coming down to is how I use my left hand. And how I use my left hand is keeping the face to path neutral. So you can see as I work through those shots there, so angle of attack, 2.8 down, 5.2 down, and let's just recognize the fact that the face to path value is the only value that we're really interested in as you're changing your angle of attack, because the face to path and the angle of attack are changing with each other. So as I increase my angle of attack, I'm looking to keep my face to path value as close to 0 as possible. So I had 2.8 at 0, 5.2 at 4 shut, 6.4 at 3 shut, 8.2 at 1 open, and 8.8 at 0. So I've managed to keep on increasing my angle of attack and keeping my face to path super neutral. That's not easy to do, but once you know how you do it, by navigating the handle through strike and how you use the unload of the golf club based around my grip, that's what you can deliver. It's really not difficult, but to just say I need more angle of attack, or I need more pull or swing, it's recognizing the relevance of either the pull or the swing. You know, Craig mentioned about Dave didn't look like he was pulling, Stuart. Let me tell you, everybody is pulling the golf club. It's to what extent are they pulling it? So recognize what the pull is giving you and what the swing is giving you. More pull will give you the opportunity to have more angle of attack. If the pull gives you more angle of attack, you better make sure that your face to path is nicely lined up. More swing will help you reduce angle of attack, which is what you want with driver. Most golfers, because the golf club, I just saw you said I didn't. Did I misinterpret what you were saying there? I thought the message read, Craig, that you thought that David wasn't pulling the golf club. That's how I read it on there. Correct me if I'm wrong though, Craig. Don't want to misquote you. So when the club is swinging, that's giving you more positive angle of attack. And if it has more positive angle of attack, that's going to give you more flight, which is what most golfers want with driver. But because driver is longer and the lever is longer, what tends to happen is the grip tends to get pulled for too long, which gets the face opening up. And that opening up is what causes the golfer to potentially then start unloading the golf club. And when you then unload the golf club, it looks like the golfer is coming over the top. But here's the grip moving forwards, and here's me unloading the golf club. Here's me moving the grip forwards and not unloading the golf club. Do they look the same? No, they don't. That looks over the top. That looks inside. One, the arc has widened. Two, the arc hasn't widened. So the grip was doing the same, and that's why it's absolute garbage when people start talking about over the top. Craig replied, I didn't mean pull, I meant pull in, so the swing after the pull. I didn't mean pull, I meant pull in, so the swing after the pull. Yeah, so I worked on the swing, wasn't I? I was working on the swing in David's lesson, Craig, yeah. Doug says, hi. Hi, Doug. Nice to have you with us. And Dick Samuelson said hi too. Hi, Dick. Nice to have you with us. Nice to have you with us. I rambled on a little bit there, but hopefully you found it useful. So I'm going to be out on the golf course. I'm going to be shooting some stuff on course on Friday this week out in France at a nice golf resort. Hopefully play 9 holes. Film that. Going to do some on-course stuff while I'm away as well. So let me know what you'd like to see on-course wise. Drop a comment. Craig, so Sam McGee, hi Stu. Hey Sam, nice to see you. Great content, really appreciate. Can you show me how to keep the club face neutral through the backswing and strike? I struggle with keeping the club face open at impact. Phew, that's like saying, can you just show me how to hit the ball dead straight? First of all, check out my grip series. That's really, really important. You need to make sure you have a really good grip. The orientation of the handle through strike is going to ultimately either open the face or close the face. So if you check out my broom series, that would be grip series and broom series. Those would be the 2 playlists to check out that will give you the best opportunity of keeping your club face square through strike. Noel, 1988, nice to have you back. Noel, good to see you yesterday as well. Afternoon Stu, was in the range last night. It got a little boring. What's a good structured routine that doesn't need a training aid? Goodness me, again, that's like how long's a piece of string? Well, it depends on what you're working on. You recognize that the golf swing is always in a state of flux. So something, you know, when I was working on tour that we'd always refer to as the golf swing is training. So you're going to recognize that the golf swing is always in a state of flux. So you're always trying to repair your golf swing. So if you think about swing technique as repair, so let's say you had 100 balls. You'd spend, again, depending on how well you're playing and what you've got coming up, because obviously if you've got a winter period coming up now where you're looking to make some changes, you might want to spend longer in repair. So if you've got 100 balls, you might spend 80% of those balls working on your golf swing. And then the other 20%, you'd work on skills, so hitting shapes of shots. In the 80%, depending on the intensity that you want to work at, I would go 5 rehearsals to 1 shot. That way, you're filling up the barrel of change, because if you think that your default swing is 1 barrel and you've got an empty barrel of change, this barrel, the one that's full of all of the old stuff, needs emptying. Now, for every 1 swing that you make and 1 drill swing that you make, both barrels are filling up at the same rate. What you've got to do is you've got to tip the balance and fill the empty one up first. So for every 1 swing, what you need to do is 5 swings to fill up this barrel. And gradually this barrel will get more full up and catch up and change what's going on in the default swing. So that would be the best way. Without training aids, if you're practicing without training aids, you may as well not be going down there as far as I'm concerned. So that would be my advice. Hopefully that helps. No? Brian Harley. Hey, Brian. Nice to have you with us. David Rice. Good day, Stuart. Good day, David. Sam. Thanks, Stu. I'll take a look. well done. Let me know how you get on, Sam. Craig, first couple of holes when playing, I'm getting a bit thin. What did you do to feel the angle of attack that you just demonstrated? So just the difference between the swing moment and the pull moment. Let me just put my golf bag here. If we recognize that the outside of the circle, all I've done is I've moved the golf swing from down here to up here. When I pull on the grip, can you see the gap increases between where the club head is and the ground is? Therefore, I need to push the grip more towards the ball and get myself more squat. The more I then make the arc widen by swinging the golf club, now I need to stand a bit taller and a bit further away, because ultimately, yeah, we're talking microscopic here, but ultimately, the more you unload the club, the gap between where you started and where you finished is going to be wider. If you load the club more and you hit more down, you're making that gap smaller. So you need to negotiate your feels with your posture and the pressures through your feet, Craig. Jacob, what's your philosophy on distance to ball and ball position? Feels like there's 1,000 different tips on that subject. So Jacob, prime your body first, and a really great way of getting yourself in a good posture. Let me move the camera here. This will help us see what I'm referring to. Let me just do that. So I'll put the TheraBand over the top here. Now I'm going to pull the TheraBand and load it. And what this TheraBand is trying to do is trying to pull me up and out of my posture. Am I in camera here? Yeah, perfect. So by doing that, all of a sudden, depending on the strength of this band, it will pull me towards the toes of my feet and get me to early extend. That's effectively what a golf club is doing to make you early extend. So at address, prime yourself by feeling more into the heels of your feet. The more you push the band off of your posture, the more you'll feel like you want to engage your postural muscles, and you'll sit the band underneath your spine. That's the best way to find posture at address. As far as ball position concerned, ball position, once you've got yourself set, put your hands out to the side. Fingertips are pointed to the ground. Push your left hip further forwards. Lift your left fingers up. Now tip yourself into your posture. The golf ball for a 7-iron down to lob wedge for a stock shot sits underneath the left ear. Now put the grip in line with the shoulder and the club head. And there you are. I've just shown you how to stand to a golf ball. Now for every golf club with less loft, you want to modulate it one ball going forwards. You never want to hit the golf ball back of the sternum. So that would be set up for a 7-iron, 6-iron, 5-iron, 4-iron, hybrid, 3-wood and driver. You're welcome. Doug, can you describe how to manage the handle out and down when you have less time, like us old farts with limited? Look, it's just blending it, Doug. You know, you're just trying to oppose the force of the golf club. So whether you've got a shorter backswing or a longer backswing doesn't really matter, because you don't feel it short. If you felt it was short, then you'd make a longer one. You just feel your backswing. So you don't need any extra insights than someone with a longer backswing. Hopefully that helps. Noel, 1988, that's some of the best advice I've heard. I appreciate that. Also, other than alignment sticks, should I add anything else? Again, no, it depends on what you're working on. It really does. Dick Samuelson, hi Stu, I wonder if you have have your head and eyes in line with the ball, the backswing, or shall it follow the shoulders in the backswing? Thanks for all the help. Dick, I've got a video coming out probably tomorrow at the very latest. Just depends if I get to finish the edit tonight or not. It's coming out, it's talking about backswing, and it will knock your socks off. So hang tough and watch that when it comes out. It's my very next video that I'm releasing. Michael Goodhand, hi Stu, what are your recommendations on stance width? I think outsides of the shoulders is a good standardization of how you want to stand. If you start to go speciality shots, start to narrow up your stance. If you're hitting driver, you could go a little bit wider, but don't go silly. What you've got to recognize with the stance is that we're looking for these feet to be able to create angular force rather than vertical force, pure vertical force. So I want these feet to be slightly angular, can you see? Slightly angular rather than dead straight, so that when I make a backswing, let me move my bag out of the way. When I make a backswing, the angle that that leg is pushing up on, can you see how it's angular rather than, it's going to have less effect if it's directly underneath me. So I'm looking for angular force with my legs to oppose my top half. And then when I pull down, the more I have that foot out here, the more angular it is, but actually the harder it is now to get my chest more across. So a good standardization, as I say, is outside of the shoulders, but it's really about trying to make the stance wide enough to get some sort of angle around 15 to 20 degrees off the vertical of your legs. A bit more in depth than maybe you were looking for, but hopefully that helped. I've just got a couple of questions there that have scrolled on by that I can't go back on. So Jacob said, thank you, you're welcome. Craig says, brilliant, thanks. So it could be me still not getting pressure down. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Philly Central. Sorry, I can't scroll up and down on my screen here. Sorry to disappear off there. Philly Central, what golf training aids would you recommend? See a lot of talk around balls on lanyards, pro sender, wrist aids and stuff. Yeah, they're not for me, all that nonsense. The best training aids for me, wedges. You pick these up on Amazon, they're about 10 or 12 pounds. Get yourself a broom. That's the best training aid on the planet. That would be number 2. Get yourself a Swiss ball. That's another one. And get yourself a baking tray. I know, baking tray, right? All household objects and all super cheap. So this leaderboard here allows you to create footwork and different drills for pressure. You can simulate that sliding skate with a baking tray, because the baking tray, especially on a coaching bay, has got rounded up edges so the foot can slide. Then what you want to do is get a TheraBand and tie it around your ankles, and hey presto, you're off. So go check out some of my content. I've used the leaderboard, unfortunately not made any longer, which is a great shame. One of the best coaching aids ever made, that one. Billy Byrne, hey Billy, nice to have you with us. Thanks for being here. Hi Stuart, I found myself hitting left a lot with my irons. To remedy this, I tried to keep the kink in my left hand through strike, but this tends to cause elbow pain. Any thoughts? Yeah, it depends on what's going on, how you're delivering it. If it's causing elbow pain, again, if you're starting to create more force on the grip as you're unloading it, it would be the same as using a different muscle in the gym, getting some DOMs. Remember, golfers invariably have a too tight a grip, then they have a too weak a grip, and then they go change their grip, then they start applying pressure, and then they start to fire up some different muscular activity, which can then give what feels like tennis elbow and all that kind of stuff, but actually it's a bit of DOMs, really, because you're using a different grip, and your grip pressure is probably the same as what it was when the grip was weak. So bear with the pain. See it as DOMS rather than real pain. If it lasts for too long, jump back on the live and I'll give you some more ideas of how you can overcome that. God, lots of questions coming. Thanks, everyone. Nice to have you with me. G. Jones, Gareth Jones, I'm assuming, hey, Stuart, hello from Australia. Watched a recent video you did focusing on players' pivot. Massive difference improving path. Would love to work with you via Skillest 4 handicap. Miss is a pull. Yeah, so well, a pull is normally a face open to path issue. Trying to work the, whereabouts in Australia you're from, by the way. You know, when you have a face open to path, invariably you have a light angle of attack and a face to path value that's living on the positive side. So a light angle of attack, slightly open face to path. Then what tends to happen is in the effort to then try and square that up, a golfer will then start to come over it, shift the path to the left, and then they start hitting pulls. So usually a positive face to path error. Would love to help you with that, G. Jones. Feel free to check me out on Skillest. Michael Goodhand, nice name. Thank you for the stance width recommendation, very helpful. Oh, sorry, I've already answered your question, Michael, sorry. Yeah, great. Sackerman Jones, you were in the other day on the Monday Night Live. Good afternoon, Stu. Good afternoon, Sackerman. Does hand path down the left change for driver where you're attempting to hit with an upward angle of attack, or is the angle of attack just a byproduct of setup? No, well, you're absolutely right with the angle of attack changes with setup. But as we push the grip down, when we meet the ball earlier in the circle, we get angle of attack. As we push the grip down and we have more chance to swing the head later in the circle, you can see it lines the face up still and makes the angle of attack up. I don't need to sit back and lift the grip up to hit up. It's the swing phase that creates that angle of attack. Sackerman Jones, thanks in advance. You're welcome. James Bedford, hi, I am wanting to get into golf. To golf. What would be your starting advice? Grip, baby. James, come close. I'm going to make you the best golfer in the first 6 months of your life. Go check out my grip series. There is a video where it's got my hands, it's got the grip. Go watch that first. Then watch my setup series. Then watch my backswing series. Then watch my downswing series. And then watch my impact series. If you want to hotwire that, go watch my playlist, Learn Golf in 40 Minutes. You will find the best advice there, all for free, on my channel, that will get you started in the game and get you playing the very best golf. Maybe hit a couple of likes, maybe even subscribe along the way. But my friend, I've got you covered and you will play the best golf of your life, promise you. G. Jones, I am near Melbourne. Oh, fantastic. I love Melbourne. Look forward to working with you. Videos will be sent within 24 hours. Fantastic. Look forward to helping you. I've spent a lot of time in Melbourne. I used to live in Beaumaris, down in Melbourne. I used to go down there 6 months of the year, play on the Von Nider Tour. Used to practice at Melbourne Golf Academy, work with Steve Bann, all that sort of stuff. Great questions, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Double tap the screen if you can. That would share the feed. I'm going to be on for another 15 minutes, so you've got a chance to answer me any more questions if you want to. Let's put the all 4 numbers up. Oh, Tanner's in. What's Tanner have to say? Let me just pop my 4 boxes back up, folks. Club path, face angle, face to path. What have we got here? What have we got from Tanner? Swing speed should hit the ball 300 plus, but struggle to hit 280. Spinny, inconsistent shots. Move but 6 inches minimum towards ball at contact. Like everybody talks about early extension, but ultimately, if you were to improve your ball striking, that will probably find that loss of 20 yards. If you're a heel striker, the gear effect of a golf club, for those of you that don't know, and I'm sure most of you do know, You're a very well-educated lot on my channel. Let's just pull that up here. So you can see the roll and bulge on a golf club. That roll and bulge there, I'm doing a terrible job here, sorry everyone. There you go, roll and bulge. You see that face is not dead straight. That roll and bulge is what causes extra spin, particularly if you hit it out the heel. So by improving your ball striking, getting it more toe side, you'll immediately drop your spin rate, and that will up your distance. If the driver's not fit right for you, that could be an issue as well, particularly if you're swinging, if you think that your total distance should be up around 300 yards. You would have a club head speed of, well, again, depends if you're seeing it as 300 total or carry, but you're certainly going to be north of 110 miles an hour, which if you've not been fitted for your driver, chances are you've got a golf club that's not fit right for you. Tend to have to get the hands very involved to square it up. You're welcome, Tanner. Yeah, look, if you're hitting the ball to the right and you're hitting it out the neck, you're going to feel like you've got to square it up. Again, early extension, when you drive the pelvis forwards, is a way of a golfer feeling like they've got more time to get the toe over the club head, or toe over the heel rather. But of course, if you get yourself more into forward flexion, what that'll do is actually increase your angle of attack, which is why most golfers with their driver don't do that, because they don't know how to cope with that. Because when you get yourself more into this forward flexion and you've got the club swinging down more on the golf ball, what you actually need to do is make that club swing more. But what happens is most golfers from there will work this way because they believe that they've got to sit back to hit up on the ball. Got to sit back to hit up on the ball, as opposed to allowing that lever to swing to hit up on the ball. So that will feel shallow through strike with driver, that feeling there. But in pre-delivery, that will make it feel steep. So bear in mind, you can feel steep in delivery, shallow through strike. But golfers just see hitting up on the ball from hitting from the inside, sitting back and hitting up. Garbage. Anyway. Area sub. Been a slicer, but now my shots are consistent pulls, slight out to in path, closed face, but square to that path. Should I keep working to pull hook to see the bend in the sky and then hit the heel, then let it heel? Yeah, absolutely. Really, really good understanding there. Keep working the face to path. Either your grip, I mean, without seeing you, it's just grip. Just keep working on grip. Tanner, beautiful. I tend to definitely angle shoulders to hit up, so that makes great sense. Oh, you're welcome, Tanner, that's great. That sounds like you could be back on the road with the driver. And great club speed, by the way, buddy. It's a nice thing to have on your side. So I would encourage you all to do this little drill I'm working on if you want to know what pulling feels like. Get yourself to the top. Hold it there. Don't pump, just pull. Oh. Hey. Thanks for the hearts, whoever did that. Thank you. James Bedford, thanks so much. I've subbed and definitely will be checking your videos out. Oh, thanks, James. Great to have you with me. And let me know if I answer all messages on my YouTube channel. So if you've got any questions, let me know. Rob K. So you're saying my grip can be very strong and I can still deliver an open club face because I'm not balancing the handle pull with the push of the left, for example, pulling too long before releasing. Absolutely. Great answer and great understanding. 100%, 100%. Is that grip strong enough for you? That grip strong enough for you? You do enough with the grip, you can still hit it out to the right. Okay, I mean, contortionist here. You can still make the ball go right. If I now, slightly less than the last one, I now make my grip work back underneath me. Hopefully it gets it. Please get it. Beautiful. Look at the face to path value. 14 degrees shut to path. So think about all of the golfers in the world that have got really strong grips, that are bowing their wrist over in an effort to try and to hit a draw. And the more they bow, the more they're pushing, and the more they're hitting it out to the right. They tying themselves up inside out, hitting it from the inside at 14 degrees with 2 degrees of angle of attack. And that's being sold as something really good. The reality is, you get the track of that grip in the right manner. Can you see how that club head, that grip is going out, back in? Look where the club head's swinging. Look how my grip is disappearing. Look how the club head is over here, and the grip's over here. And you put that with the golf ball, and you should be able to hit shots similar to that. Anyway, just an old coach. Billy, should I have a kink in the left hand at the top of the swing also? Absolutely. It should match the kink that you create at address. Flanker Jack, Stu, any advice to help develop patience when learning a new drill or feel and sticking with it when you feel like it doesn't work? I seem to lack focus. Well, you should be, if you're working on the right stuff, you should be seeing enough good stuff happen. So if you work with a coach and you're standing on the range and they're giving you instruction, if you can't get it by the end of the session, unless it's a really, really big issue, like chap I just saw before, he's a single figure player and his angle of attack for a 7-iron was 7 degrees, between 5 and 7 degrees up. So he needs a lot of work. That takes some time, but if you're just experiencing a bit of slice or draw, you should be able to get it quickly, and there should be enough good stuff in there to keep you inspired. So I would question how good the changes are working. Graham Murray, hey Graham. Hi Stu, what is the main reason why people struggling with 3-wood off the deck? It's because their lack of club head speed, and mainly because not enough loft angle when they're delivering the golf club, because most golfers are making the grip go too far out to the right, which is opening the face, and then they're bowing the wrist, which is then creating that kind of ingredient down at strike. That's why you then get these knuckle balls and you can't get the ball flighted with a 3-wood off the ground. G. Jones, the pivot lesson was with David Jones, to refresh your memory. That's my dad's name, so it's meant to be us working together. You're right, regards, low angle of attack and open club face. Heel strikes tendency as well. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the interaction, everyone. Really, really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. It's great to have everyone on. Sean K. Stu, I've been driving the ball well recently. Very neutral numbers, neutral flight and little bend. 1.5 smash and up, spin is 3 at 35 and 100, 3500. Any ideas on what's causing the high spin? Well, You said very neutral numbers. Neutral. What's the angle of attack? If the angle of attack is above 3 or 4, that could be a reason. High spin numbers could be a strike, slightly heel bias, and it could be a poorly fitted driver. If you've got some decent speed, yeah, it could be just a poorly fitted driver. These are the sort of golden rules with driver and efficiency. You want a dynamic loft between 10 and 11. Again, this is for someone at around 100 miles an hour. Dynamic loft around 10 and 11 degrees. You want your face to path to be between -2 and +2, with a strike somewhere out the middle. If your spin axis is not 4 times that of your face to path, your strike is an error. So if you've got a face to path closed at 2, you should see a spin axis of -8, and vice versa for positive face to path. So if you use those as golden rules, you'll actually be able to work out where the weak link is. So for instance, if you've got a dynamic loft of 14 degrees and you're hitting up at 3, then dynamic loft is going to be a problem. But that being said, you could get a club fit for that. So if you're saying it's very neutral, it's going straight, you can overcome that with some good technology. So that's some decent rules of thumb when trying to optimize a driver, which is the one that we all want to really feel optimized, don't we? Well, we're just about there. Got a couple of minutes left. Love to answer any more questions before we go. And do check out my most recent video if you haven't done so already. And the one that I'm bringing out tomorrow, hopefully, is an absolute cracker. There's a bit left, that one. Hey, Stu. Hey, Gary. Thanks for everything you do. It's a huge pleasure, Gary. I love it. I really do. I'm really, really enjoying this, meeting so many lovely people. So much coming. Got a new website coming, some more digital content getting out on the golf course. Got some golf trips, some clinics coming. Do head over to my WhatsApp chat channel over there. You'll find the link. I'll pop it in the link in the description below. But if you just search on WhatsApp, it's a read only. So I announce loads of news going on there and some insights into some videos. Thank you so much for being with me this afternoon. It's been a great hour. I wish you all well. I'll be back tomorrow at some stage. Check out the posts page to find out when I'll be online. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Take care for now. That's good coaching. Even